the new decade, clothes are moving more to grunge style. So much plaid, and the hair is getting flatter. What world am I in right now? We're in the 90s. As hello, homeslice. Or should I say, home skillet? It means the same thing. What's the 411? Today I'm going to make some bomb grindage for you guys in this all due time of cooking video series that I have on my channel. I made an 80s video last time on my channel because we made duck alalo. If you want to watch that, it's up above. Totally rad fun. But today we're going through the phAT 90s, a time of hip hop, a time of turbulence going into the 90s, the Cold War coming up, and then the Berlin Wall coming down. Full of revolutionary ideas, a change in music, hair steadily getting softer with the curls, but bright colors still remained a trend until 1993, when everything changed with the Rachel in 94, and those flannel shirts, floral slip dresses dominated the scene. It was all about minimalism, but not with today's cooking. What do you think of when you think of 90s food? Chef Boyardee was definitely one of them. How about Dunkaroos? How about So Delicious? Comment down below what your favorite food is. Because today we're making an upscale, homemade version of Chef Boyardee. Oh, and if you like what you see and the craziness that is my channel, click subscribe down below and click that bell icon for every time that I post. Let's get started with the tortellini dough. I would describe tortellini dough as a dough made like bread but without the yeast component. So let's start that now. So to start off with the tortellini, I have 2 cups of flour. Don't need to sift it or anything. And then I also have the oil mixture. So this is 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of olive oil, and 1 pinch of salt in the flour itself. The recipe didn't say it, but I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. I'm just going to whisk this up. We want it to be nice and smooth when it's incorporated into the flour, and set it aside. Lay down some parchment just to keep everything really easy to clean, but that's optional. And to roll out as well. So you're going to make a mound. I've always wanted to do this, and we get to do it together. So you make a well in the middle. Slow. And with one hand, with your left hand, you want to keep the well from crushing under itself. And you want to add half the mixture in. Just like that. And I've seen this many times on videos, but now I get to do it. So you can incorporate it in, kind of mix it in, kind of give it some time to absorb the egg, water, and oil. Just like that. And as you're stirring it, it's going to be incorporated a little bit more at a time. And just bring it in a little bit more. Okay, I haven't seen a tortellini video in a long time, so I'm kind of winging this. Take a chill pill. Like, don't stress about it. Like, okay, and now you can add the rest of the mixture in. And just make sure you go really slowly, incorporating everything. Feel like so this isn't okay. So I just wanted to get the dough to a workable point. I've never done this before. We're learning it like the Macarena. Alright, so I just added a little bit more water and olive oil to it. A little bit too sticky. You just want to add a little flour to the workspace. And now I'm going to knead it for 10 minutes. Whew. That was as long as the Titanic movie. actually cost more than the Titanic itself. So I finished the pasta dough here. We're gonna let it rest for 1 hour. Just like the bread, we're gonna allow the glutens to form, make sure they get all cozy with each other, and I'll see you back here. And just a quick flash. So we're gonna start off with 1 cup of ricotta cheese. I don't even know what this tastes like. Is it a form of cottage cheese? I know I had that before. That goes in your bowl. Next, we're gonna take a half a cup of Philly cheese. Now, if you remember in the 90s, that Angel Girl, she actually did a campaign for a new Angel Girl. But those Philadelphia commercials of the 90s were absolutely iconic. So, half a cup of that Philadelphia cream cheese. It goes in there. I really should have softened it, but that's kind of not an option right now. But I wanted it fresh, you know, but follow the instructions, don't be like me. And also the recipe said half a cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. So that goes in there. The next ingredient is half a cup of provolone cheese, which I've already grated. We're going to add that in there. This is going to be the filling for our ravioli. So just give it a lovely stir. Now we're going to roll out the dough. By the way, dough meant beans back in the 90s. Can I have a couple beans for a bag of chips? Oh, let's roll it out. It needs to be no thicker than a nickel. Who remembers Five Goes West? There was like a song that was like rolling, rolling, or something like, oh. The best cartoons of the 90s. So for the recipe, they didn't really specify how many it made. So I'm gonna guess 1 inch in is the circumference of the ravioli, and then 1 teaspoon is the filling. Get my egg wash and just go over the top. We're gonna take 1 teaspoon of the filling, and that is our ravioli. Alright, I'm literally guesstimating at this point, but I guess cut it in half, and then I'm just gonna flip it over. Oh, it's not working out with how okay, there we go. And then press the air out around the raviolis. I don't know, the recipe wasn't very specific, but alright, so now we're gonna cut our raviolis. Please, preferences, this isn't a complete step-by-step guide on how to do it. You're watching me how I do this for the first time, so leave it rough around the edges. Now for the sauce, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the pan, 2 tablespoons of basil pesto sauce. I put the aloe vera kind, but any brand will do. And 3 tablespoons of that sauce. We're gonna add a little bit of garlic powder. We're gonna add a 1/4 cup of Parmesan Reggiano. I'm actually going to remove this from the heat, and that's going to be our sauce. Next we have our ravioli. Let's take a look at that before they go in there. For some boiled water, they're going to go for 8 minutes on medium. I'm going to set it to medium. So I actually did add 8 cups of marinara to your basil pesto sauce. Now they're going to go into a 375-degree oven for 8 minutes, just to crisp up before they get the sauce. And then we're gonna taste test it. Thank you, Doc, for returning me to the current year. Anyways, So I do want to talk about the recipe. You're seeing the new recipe that I just redid yesterday. I do have a new recipe. It is 3 1/4 cups of flour, 4 large eggs, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 1 tablespoon of kosher salt. So for this ravioli, I rolled it out really thin, followed the recipe, and I also did it in a pot as well. So I wanted to minimize a lot of mess that I made, like even with the parchment paper. Like it's a great idea, but you have to tape it down if you're gonna roll anything out on it. Roll it out to when you can see through it. I feel like that's the best for pasta, is when you can see through it. It's springy, it holds its shape. With pasta, yes, roll it out as thin as you can go. And there's so much versatility with it. So much better than 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon. I made 7 raviolis in the original recipe. No. There's something wrong with the ratios, and I had to make it my own. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it here right now. I love you all so much. Au revoir, my beautiful bubbles.